Adam?
Frank?
With her tears finally dried up, Eve stopped trying to evade the gaze of her husband and looked him straight in the eye.
Adam, are you really my husband?
Of course I am.
Eve gave him a deep look. It was probably the first time in her life that she had ever gazed at someone for this long.
Then, can I love you too?
She felt embarrassed by her own words all of a sudden.
Yes.
She had always dreaded putting her feelings into words.
Are you going to love me?
Going to? I've loved you ever since I came to this world.
Another teardrop traveled involuntarily down her cheek. Ah, everything had finally become clear to her. He had always loved her. And so, she silently asked him for one last wish.
In that case, will you perish with me?
If that is your wish.
Not a trace of hesitation clouded Adam's voice. Eve chuckled to herself. Joy from having her wish fulfilled. Sorrow from getting him involved in her silly scheme. She poured out everything that had been weighing on her soul, and now she smiled at Adam with a final wish on her lips.
Please hear me out. It's my final, selfish request to you. Kill Tendu Setsuna and... Please.
Adam gave her an affectionate smile.
If that is what you wish, I will gladly carry it out. For I am your husband.
Following a few moments of hesitation, Adam placed his hand on Eve's head, stroking her hair with a series of slightly awkward, inexperienced movements. Once finished, he turned around, facing us again.
Messenger, make sure to prevent Raziel from interfering. At least until I kill Tendo Setsuna, that is. I know not who your true master is, but I beseech you, heed my words now.
Very well.
Caught off guard by the sudden request, Messenger couldn't help but nod at the regal tone Adam's voice carried. And so Adam faced Tendu Setsuna, who still wore a detached look on his face.
Adam, is this what you want? I faced Adam, seemingly glanced at Eve clinging to him from behind. Adam, in the meantime, gave me a nod with no hesitation at all. Time for words seemed to be over. A memory of that peaceful day we all spent together flashed through my mind. Exhaled the air from my lungs, dispelling all irrelevant thoughts. Sorami.
Eve, stand back.
Two took some distance from us as told. Pick up the Archistratego swords from the ground. In the meantime, Adam picked up the Picati sword that lay next to his feet.
Shall we begin?
Yeah. Sensation akin to anger intermingling with anguish and sorrow took hold of my heart for a split second. Still, I had to defeat him. I had to fight him.
Fate's a fickle mistress.
Yeah. Imagine there might have been another way, then promptly discarded the thought. There's no other way for us, at least up until now. Inevitability was the chief force at work here. Adam and I couldn't walk the same path together. It's too narrow for the both of us. Adam and I threw weapons at each other. Catching them, we both lunged forward. Our willpowers howled, killing intent, fighting spirit, and finally, swords crashed against each other like two high-speed trains. Steel kissed steel. We instead of pushing forward, both chose to counterattack with a kick aimed at other's temple. Both of us stumbled, and neither of us fell. We glared at each other. We smiled. I kicked myself off the ground, leaping into the skies, cutting through the air, easily exceeding the speed of sound. I launched a volley of strikes at him. No time to breathe, nor did I want to. The only joy present was landing a head on, the only sorrow receiving one in return. I paid no heed to blood trickling down my skin, my ever-growing misty surroundings, and my own creaking body ready to collapse, elicited by a moment's reprieve. 7 beasts, full of fire! The 7 avatars of sin bared their fangs and jumped at Adam.
Petty tricks.
Infernal fire erupted from Michael's sword, divine flame that purified all sins it came in contact with. The defeat of the beast was imminent. I dodged the flame by the skin of my teeth, and part of me still seemed to have been scorched in the fiery display. Its unnerving smell of burnt flesh tickled my nostrils. Huh? I lost him. He vanished from sight. Damn it. Where was he?
Up here.
Glanced up, the blood turning to ice. It was probably met with another explosion of fire. A double-barreled trick, a flash step. God damn it! I was so fierce I felt my body and soul split apart. I lost my momentum and crashed onto the ground. I could feel awkward vitae soaking my clothes.
Setsuna!
I signaled Sorami to stop with my right hand. Stay back! Don't come any closer to me now! That was the one time I couldn't think of you. The one time when mine could only focus on the boat before my eyes. All I could think of was the battle, and ending his life. Ha! I gripped my teeth so hard it nearly cracked and leapt into the air again. Although all the magic poured it into the action made the word launch form apt to describe what I did. Adam, his face a massive column as always, parried my attack. Rising above him, I called for one of the beasts of the sword. Silver line of pride! All I manifested out of thin air and, obeying my orders, propelled me. Adam protected himself from lethal damage with his sword as I slashed at him. Still, I expected that, just precisely why my attack was, in fact, more of a dash. I accelerated further, catching up with the following Adam. I added a kick to my combo. He crashed into the ground at an angle, grinding his face along the surface.
Damn!
I appeared to have successfully damaged his shoulder, somewhat disheartened by the fact that an attack I poured all my strength into didn't particularly achieve anything significant. Still, I had no time to lament. Adam stood up.
This sword isn't strong enough.
I agreed. One was the sword belonging to Archangel Michael, another to Archangel Uriel. A blasphemy if I ever heard one. Still, they didn't indeed lack in sheer destructive power at present. We cast our swords aside and closed in on each other. One of the tingling pain somewhere deep inside my nose came from fear, from Adam's palpable killing intent. Alex mattered rather than pondering trifles. I should have thought the most swift and convenient way to ram my fist into his face. I stopped. I should probably come up with a strategy. Succumbing to instinct, we proceeded to hammer each other with our fists. I threw a punch, he responded with his own, ad nauseum. Our bout displayed a thorough lack of the strategy or technique. I hit him so hard I needed to dislocate my own shoulder, yet each time that fist made impact, I felt elated. And he would hit me back. Every single time he touched me, my entire body would fire up in fierce agony as if pierced by a needle. Don't!
Fuck with me!
I hit him. My aching fists were seething, like they were on fire. My spinal cord felt cold as ice. My mind drowned in a maelstrom of pain and elation. got hit. My consciousness blacked out for a few seconds. Still, my raw yet stalwart fighting spirit helped recollect myself as I gripped my teeth again. My bout no longer displayed any elements of sportsmanship. No longer has anything to do with martial arts, fencing, even technique of drunkards, fighting with sticks. We were hammering each other with nothing but fists, returning to the most primordial of states. Nothing commendable about it, just pure satisfaction on its basest level. I acknowledged both his strength and personality, but believed him to have acknowledged me the same. We could no longer become friends, or rather, we didn't want to. It's a notion that both of us felt inherently repulsed by. I didn't feel malice towards Oshiba Hagane back when I fought him. I felt sorry for him and wanted to put him out of his torment. Our relationship did come close to something akin to friendship in the end, I thought. I felt nothing like that fighting Adam. Whenever I look at him, I'd be overtaken by an indescribable sensation, something akin to but not exactly killing intent, animosity, and an irresistible wish to fight. My heart would go awry, robbing me of the ability to calmly analyze myself and my surroundings. All I understood now was that he was trying to kill me, that the thought made me very happy. So I didn't hold back, went for the kill of myself. My cheeks were ruined by punches, my teeth were falling apart. I took a deep breath, blew it out, doing Adam's vision with dust. He was momentarily rendered blind. Without wasting another second, I landed a wild swing at his chin. A critical hit. My triumph didn't last long. Adam's right fist crashed into my liver. Destructive power reaching the measure of tons. Adam's fist broke my ribs as if they were branches of this decrepit tree. Adam fell to his knees from pain, but his eyes still burned bright with almost palpable intent to kill me, his body trembling from sheer animosity. I, too, was down on my knees and trembling. This time to see my sheer fighting spirit, by able to cast pain and fear away, struggled to bring me back to my feet. Still, I somehow managed to stumble back up. Our positions were the same as in the start. The sole difference was that we were now battered almost to death. No one but Adam existed in my world at this point. If someone had been calling for me, the voices might as well have been in another dimension as far as I was concerned. I didn't care about the past or the future, not even the present. I cared about one thing only. Adam, my nemesis. Pain grew worse, the body heating up even further. What was the most pleasurable of sensations? The thought that my adversary had been suffering the same filled me with joy. I gave myself a deep, self-appreciating smile, just losing my mind.
Tendo Setsuna, I live for Eve alone. I shall fight and die for her. That's my raison d'etre.
Adam declared his raison d'etre to me with pride.
And you? Does your life belong to Kugutsu Sorami?
I took a deep breath, considered his words. I wondered. I certainly did not live only for myself. I lived for someone to be able to live in peace, smiles and joy, filling their waking moments. Could I single out Sorami as the sole target of my aspiration? I felt that wasn't necessarily the case. So did I live then for the world? I didn't feel that to be the case either. If I could choose between Sorami and the world, I would choose the former in a heartbeat. Still, there's something off about the idea. I didn't live for the world. I didn't live to serve it. No. I didn't live to Sorami. I didn't live to serve her. I simply wished to be a part of this world, to live as one man out of many, to walk this generous Sorami at my side, who would overcome the cruelest of fates and bridle the whole world to achieve it.
So our paths are different after all. Our feelings are not the same.
Yeah. He chuckled. After a short break, Adam considered me again.
It's about time we finished this.
Yes. The end is nigh. Let's finish this. The reason I was born for, the reason I was birthed into this world. It's not something that a third party could decide for me. Some whispered that you were born for one thing or another. You could take their words into consideration, but never for the indomitable truth. The raison d'etre is something you had to grasp and hold on to by yourself, both in dreams, reality. You have to grasp it, and clutching it tight in your embrace, proceed ever forward. Tendo Setsuna, what do you live for? Adam, what do you live for? By the caress of the breeze, I shouldn't have been there. We left the gates of heaven open. A gust might have sneaked inside. Everything was so silent, both the world outside and the world within. I couldn't even hear my own heartbeat. God of Thunder, Takumi Kazuchi! I woke my nanomachines, making them shoot a blast of electricity through my veins. This forcefully invert my muscles again. Exceed his speed by a small margin.
Lend me your power, Emperor of Thunder! Right-hey!
Still, he was my duplicate. It made sense they had the same nanomachines within them. Cutting through the air like bullets, our fists crashed into their targets with a thunderous bang. God of Might, touch it, cover, whoa!
Beast of unrivaled might, Behemoth!
Both of our faces got hit by what might as well have been a cannonball. Equal. We were equal at everything. From now on, we would be different. We chose different paths that opposed each other. So the differences of our ways would provide us with a new, different method to hurt and kill each other. We made some distance between each other. Put out everything in the next clash.
My raison d'etre is to give my everything to my love.
My raison d'etre is to triumph over impossible odds with everything I have. Adam synchronized with the world. His reason for existence was obvious, set in stone. The question was, what kind of effect would it have on the world? Adam ripped his chest open with his own right hand. What? His hand invaded a newly opened gap in his chest as I gazed at the spectacle in bewilderment. Finally, he pulled his hand out, clutching his own ruby heart.
The heart of a red dragon. I imagine this is the one thing of mine that would be different from yours.
Indeed. Even my heart wasn't that powerful. Still, did you know you would die from ripping your heart out, Adam?
I won't perish.
A shining heart let out a creak. The most robust part of the dragon body obeyed Adam's will, changed its shape to resemble that of a weapon. Crimson blade made of his heart, the ultimate weapon that only the bravest could wield, for if it shattered, it would mean the end of his master.
All of my power, all of myself, down to the very last cell, exists for her alone. And so I shall arm myself with the strongest weapon available to me.
The world's most powerful sacred blade, the world's fastest demon sword, the world's most warped holy lance, all the other divine relics in his arsenal. He deemed them all worthless. Then, the one thing he had put his trust in was his very own heart. A crystallized volcanic flame so potent one wasn't hesitate for a moment before labeling it love.
Erythrocardia, my crimson heart.
Such was the weapon Adam chose. The world turns through the cogs of an intricate mechanism. And so I made my declaration. My power was such that I could triumph over impossible odds without relying on the saving grace of the divine. I closed my eyes, considered Adam in my mind. A copy of myself that exceeded me both in power and heart. A man among men. That made us despise each other. We felt repelled by, averse to, and positively loathed the very notion of being together. And the reason for that was now clear as a day. For he was myself. The paths we walked differed, so did the principles of our creed. And I still realized I was but another possibility of my own self. I waited for someone's orders. I craved for someone to tell me what to do. I yearned for a life I could spend without a moment of independent thought. Unfortunately, both of us were long past that stage. I toppled Metatron out of my own will, so shall I kill Adam. I didn't doubt that we'd been of the same mind. For him, who lived for Eve alone, and about her had been but an obstacle. I imagine even lands and seas wouldn't escape his animosity. Her orders as they were, Adam would continue destroying all and everything in his path until his own life finally gave out. Would feel fulfilled, as such was her command. But I couldn't let them have their way. Maybe they were right. Maybe their melancholic wish came from the very purity of their hearts. I still couldn't let them have their way, despite everything. The story couldn't end. The story had to continue forever. Even if I perished, it had to still go on without me. But this eternal future was not threatened. If I succumbed to Adam here, it would vanish without trace. I couldn't help but admire the concept of the unknown. I loved, from the bottom of my heart, the idea of a future had surprises in store. I currently dwelled in the present that rested atop the foundation of the past. Our presence built upon that foundation would eventually lead us to the future. We always lived only to reach what lay beyond our current moment, fought the present to attain the future. In order to suppress all adversity through devastating power, I shall create God. I shall mold him into being. As my raison d'etre, Tendo Setsuna, reason for being. I summon you, universal machine, guardian spirit of time! My raison d'etre is initiated as a kingdom of machines sprung into this world again. Innumerable two volcanoes bustling the heat of the gorges. I would have thought the weapon ultimately descending into my hand without being
a copycat.
Adam gave me a confident smile. Couldn't blame him for it. The weapon I had summoned to overpower this turned out to be an exact copy of the very sword he held in his hands. Only its color was different. Azure. Zafiro Cardia, my Azure heart. Ah, so that was how it was. And in front of my eyes held the strongest weapon in this world. There's no other that could possibly overpower it. But there might have been weapons that held more raw power by themselves. As long as this sword rested in the hands of a man with the strongest heart in the world, Adam himself would be unmatched. Hence there was but one method to prevail against him, and to exceed him in conviction, tenacity, fighting spirit, and raw feeling. It's a simple yet nigh impossible task, but I had no alternatives. Sorami!
Huh?
I gently caressed her neck with my right hand, but she was still in the midst of confusion, covered her lips. My own. Our kiss barely lasted a second, but it didn't matter. I was satisfied as long as our lips touched. I drew my head back, since Sorami still needed a few seconds to comprehend what had happened. Finally, her cheeks grew the color of scarlet. Sorry for doing that out of nowhere. I faced Adam again.
Oh, okay.
Her cheeks still red, she nodded at me. I loved her with all my heart. I didn't know much about love, but I imagined that this was the feeling. In any case, I readied my sword. Adam gave me a wry smile.
I'll keep mine for later.
That too wouldn't have been so bad. Eventually we took a step towards each other. With it, I steeled my heart. His sword required no tricks. It cut and killed. All that mattered was the will of its wielder. Darkness seeped out of my sword. Light out was his. So our hearts clashed. The world that Metatron had fashioned split in half with a deafening explosion. A ravine opened between Adam and myself. I gripped my teeth. The agony of having one's heart clash with another was far worse than I had imagined. It wasn't only physical pain. I long transcended that concept. It was worse. As our hearts clashed, we understood each other. I could now comprehend Adam thoroughly, down to the last detail. He could comprehend me just the same. Nonetheless, I would kill him. I would reject any newfound feelings and make him perish. It was neither a strong conviction nor a vague excuse like faith in God. It was all for Eve. It would destroy the entirety of the world, and everything therein because Eve wished it so. I vaulted up, swinging my blade downwards. He parried, knocking my sword out of its trajectory with tremendous strength. At the same time, he spun around and swung his sword at my side. I couldn't parry it with my sword. Following a thunderous bang, the main bone of my left arm, the humerus, shattered.
Got you!
I didn't give up. As I felt my arm break, Alan let his guard down. Planted a kick right in his face as he momentarily lost his vision, then his own arm flying with a swing of my sword. While one of us was regenerating his broken bones, the other his severed arm, both thrust their swords at each other's chests. I gripped my teeth at the sensation of an alien object ravaging my chest. I didn't die. With our hearts in our hands, naming our torsos amounted to little more than excruciating pain. Still, at times, pain had the power to break hearts. We both seemed to share in that intention, yet neither of our hearts gave in. Both of our left arms rendered useless, but up using our right. I jumped forward, launching a ferocious strike. The chop fell on me from above, like it would intend to stop and counter my action. I didn't care and thrust ahead, crashed into him like a truck. Experiences no longer mattered at this point, needed a technical power. So, the only way to prevail was to break these foes' hearts. We tumbled down the white ground, rolling twice or thrice, hitting up to top me. Our arms regenerate at almost the very same moment. His fist crashed into my face. At this point, I imagined he planned to grind it to mincemeat. Unnerved by the grotesque thought, I launched my own fist up towards the sky. His cheekbones shattered while I spit out my own teeth. So we continued. I couldn't see a thing through the blood anymore. Only the most primitive of sensations. Pain still reached my brain. We kept landing head out the gate from each other in an never-ending rondo of fists. A few minutes of hacking at each other like savage beasts. We found ourselves flung some distance away, finally creating an opening between us. We stood up, assuming our combat stances. I sat a mouthful of blood onto the ground, walked a tightrope of death, balanced myself and fly with a spider's web. Adam, not bothering to wipe the blood off his face, continued to glare at me. His unadulterated love was likely the strongest feeling known to this world. I probably loved Eve more than I could ever love Sorami. So, I couldn't help to win in terms of affection. Realizing that, I couldn't help but let him chuckle. What a way to lose. In the end, I couldn't become a hero. Those who fought for love would always win. The midst of mankind stood testament to that. As long as the hero had someone he loved at his side, he always prevailed. The source of all Alan's power was, without doubt, exactly that. Each time we clashed, the world around us ripped apart. It wasn't because it was poorly made. The world Metatron created had been as heaven-like as the original. The reason was simple. Not even the divine realm could withstand the destructive power of our weapons. Confusion manifested in Adam's face, and during the impulse to vacate my stomach, wiping the sweat out of my eyes, I smiled to myself. Knew what had perplexed him. His heart brimmed with love of Eve. That affection was what gave him his power. So potent, it tore the world apart. I, on the other hand, was nothing like him. I loved Sorami. I truly did. I also knew full well that I couldn't compare with that passion of his affection. My love wasn't pure. I didn't love Sorami herself, but rather the future that was waiting for me with her. I didn't love Sorami alone. I loved everyone. My heart was filled with love, almost like it was running a bargain sale on affection. It wasn't that hard to overcome the fear of death. Overcoming the torment, on the other hand, was no simple task. Knowing it wasn't the best of ideas, I had most of the pain signals coming to my brain, relying only on my sense of touch. My fear waned, my fighting spirits shut up. I could have overcome the fear of death that easily. The answer was simple. I knew I would have a long life ahead of me either way. Mika.
3 years, maybe 2 if you exert yourself too much.
I caught her saying something along those lines. I wasn't designed for posterity, but my vitals would likely stop one day without as much as a warning. We overcome with fear whenever I considered the idea. Despite the terror, though, I couldn't shake off the thought. Something couldn't stop thinking about it. At times I thought I'd make peace with my fate, look death straight in the eye. But I'd been afraid of becoming a god as well, to fear death, overshadowed by a large margin. A battle of death that nobody could ever hope to interfere with at this point. The sky split apart, the world shattered to pieces like glass, remnants of the old heaven peeking out from beyond the destroyed layers. I missed my swing, was flung away by the counter that followed. The bones had cracks and hairline fractures all over at this point. My regeneration powers could no longer keep up with the damage. My heart continued to shoot blood through my veins, and all my nanomachines concentrate solely on regeneration. Still, it wasn't enough. To tell the truth, it was a miracle in itself that my arms and legs were still attached to my body. I couldn't get up. Though I wished to do so with all my heart, my body refused to obey my will. All I could do was wail, unable to even form words. Adeline nearby, looking down at me with a detached expression.
And so it all ends now.
He clutched his sword with both of his shaking hands, his own heart. Erythrocardia. Love was a powerful force. In the end, no one could best it. Nonetheless, I refused to yield. I had no idea how much of my lifespan still had left, and even if Sorami had ordered me to destroy the world, I wouldn't have listened. The world was far more fascinating place than I've ever imagined. It was neither a kind nor a particularly harsh place. Despair had no control over the world. Where people tried hard enough, hope could always be discovered. I wished to preserve such a world as a final present to her before my death. Both the hearts were already littered with cracks. I stifled my fear. Ignoring the pain, I refused to cry and give in to terror. If I yielded here, the world would surely fall. So would Sorami. Together, without future. He sent me flying with another merciless kick, shattering the last of my ribs.
The world is cold as ice.
She said that once, and I agreed. The world had always been cold, unforgiving, and filled with cruelty. Nonetheless, I yearned to live. I yearned to be a part of this world. My only wish has been to entrust my dreams to this world, to feel its beauty. Saw a vision of a future together with Sorami. Soothing sight, illuminated by the beautiful orange of a sunset. One detail in that picture surpassed even its majestic glow. The smile on Sorami's face. Tears welled in my eyes as blood trickled down my lips. Couldn't allow this scenery to remain a lie, an illusion. Stand, Tendo Setsuna! Stand, and ready your sword one last time! I swung my sword at Hal, still prone. Alan jumped back, evading the swing, and brandished his own sword.
You still have some fight in you?
Of course I do! I brandished my sword as well. Lights colored azure and crimson danced in unison. Faces so got torn apart with everything around us being flung down to the nether. The rift separated us like a decimation line. We hesitated for a second. We both understood the next attack would likely prove to be our last. Discarded all cognitive thoughts, to left everything to the instincts of my trusty partner for the past few years. My own body. Little by little, the vacuum that had formed between us dissipated. As if the whole world had been flooded with some vicious liquid. The air itself seemed dense. Somewhere in the depths of my consciousness, I realized I howled. I realized I jumped forward. Without interference from my mind, my body moved as it saw fit while I held the sort of Saphirocardia tight in my grip. I flew up to the sky. I swung it downward. My mind dormant. It took less than a second to aim. My body moved reflexively as it entered the sword's reach. I didn't care about what Anna was doing. so I wasn't particularly unsettled by the fact that our swords clashed again. Frank.
There was no use lying anymore. Adam smiled to himself. Little by little, cracks started appearing on his weapon, and with it, on his own heart as well. He must have known this would happen. Destroying the world probably wasn't that hard a feat for Adam at this point. And if I lost, he would doubtless proceed with the plan and succeed in a heartbeat.
Oh, sorry, I guess it is still me. But he knew that wish wasn't right. For the longest time, he managed to prevent a contradiction from surfacing, though prioritizing Eve above all else, he locked his own emotions in the darkest depth of his heart. He only wanted peace. But in the end, he could completely eradicate all of his feelings. His heart and affection had been so pure, so clear that one could see through it, have a peek of what had been hidden underneath. He only wanted peace. But Eve didn't. She desired but one thing from Adam: destruction. No one could condemn that solemn wish. A girl who spent an eternity downtrodden, forsaken. There's nothing strange with Adam wanting to fulfill her wish. Still, he wasn't a machine. A wish to ravage all creation might have been a little bit too much even for his heart. He never wanted to destroy anything, but he wanted to fulfill Eve's wish. There's but one thing he could do with this contradiction: make it sink down to the depths of his heart, fill the open cracks with Eve's love instead, veiling the truth underneath. Gazing outside the window with book in hand while sipping the green tea she had prepared, relishing the sweet aroma of his drink. A small, simple wish that remained in Adam's heart turned to poison that devoured him from within. Two swords clashed. Crimson sword cracked. He didn't feel surprise nor malice towards his opponent. He merely wanted to see her smile one more time. The sword that shattered ended up being the crimson one. The huge contradiction in Adam's heart was the cause of his own defeat. It didn't fall behind the magic nor technique or even the strength of his sword. The finishing blow was delivered by the very fact that Adam himself had prematurely acknowledged his own defeat. Absentmindedly gazing at the crimson fragments of his sword, Adam smiled to himself.
So, this is it. I wonder if it was for the better or worse that I failed at the very end.
For the better, I would say. It's hardly ever a good idea to proceed with things half-heartedly. Once I decided on doing something, there was only two ways to escape regrets. Either drop an adventure before starting anything, or seeing it through to the very end.
Adam?
I'm sorry, Eve. It seems I ultimately ended up lying to you.
No, you still made me very happy.
I can't see. Can you come closer?
Yes.
Eve embraced Adam with one hand and grasped the hilt of his sword with the other.
Adam.
Eve tried to tell him something, but Adam shook his head. He gave her a gentle smile instead.
You don't need to apologize. This was my wish. My doing. I don't regret a thing.
Falling silent, Eve thrust the sword through her own chest. Gulping down his blood that bubbled up in her throat, she continued to smile, to mask the pain from her love.
I'm just a little scared of being left alone. I feel as though, without you, my my soul would lose its shape and disperse in the wind. The very thought terrifies me.
It's alright. I'm here for you.
Truly?
Yes, the two of us are one, married in the eyes of God, together in sickness and in health.
Won't death?
Not even death shall do us part.
Adam gave her a little nod with a satisfied smile. Showing no hint of malice or interest towards me. His killer, Adam closed his eyes forever. Realizing that his soul had already vacated his body, Eve glanced at us and made a smile. Blood that she could no longer contain escaped her lips, trickling down her chin and chest, making for one mystifyingly dazzling sight. Black and white, mingling with vivid crimson, color of Adam's sword.
Adam stays with me. He will have neither his sword nor a single drop of his blood. He is all mine. This is the end of our story. But what about you, Tendu Setsuna? Where do your conclusion lie?
I don't know. I'd imagine it end in the exact fashion you hope. He let out a small snicker.
I see, Tendu Setsuna. And just like Adam, you shall die wishing to live, filled with regret, yet unable to escape your cursed fate.
Think that's what I deserve?
Yes, you are the only man that Adam truly hated. The other person that Adam expressed interest in. I am a jealous woman.
He loved only you.
And I wanted everything of him for myself, even his hate.
Warped or perhaps innocently pure mindset. In the very end, the young woman craved all and up, savoring the bitter taste of regret.
Still, he truly loved me. He showed me affection from the moment of his birth down to his final hour. I was the one and only for him. I wished for more, but I suppose this will do.
Are you?
Yes, I will accompany him on his final journey. Ah, I truly am blessed.
Eve left this world, with a smile as radiant as the sun itself. The wind swept through the white lands as their bodies promptly turned to dust, their souls dispersed into nothingness, leaving no trace of their being. The only thing that hinted at their existence were the wounds carved into my body. I prevailed, but the true victor might have been Eve in the end. Her wish might have gone unfilled, but she left this world with a satisfied smile on her face. Maybe she never truly wished to destroy anything. Just but a tragic woman who spent eternity crying in the corner of the world without anyone taking notice. Couldn't even begin to imagine the loneliness it might have felt, condemned to eternal solitude. But in the end, Adam wiped her tears away. This entire story revolved around their reunion. The sword vanished from her right hand, so turned back. Was met beside Sorami, smiling through her tears. Belief in my safety and welling of emotions that decided the two primordial lovers gave her ample reason to cry. She was a curious girl, though it had even been a month since our first meeting. Anxiety gnawing my heart for her absence had become unbearable. I decided to spend the remainder of my life with her.
Setsuna.
Sorami pressed her head against my chest.
Did they die?
Yeah.
Was there nothing we could do?
I was about to confirm it, but hesitated. The two wished to destroy the world, and however ill-chosen that wish of theirs was, it had been justified true to their hearts. Was there nothing we could have done about it? No. It isn't like there was no other way. But I wanted to live, and I didn't want you to die. so I felt myself justified in opposing Adam. Not like there was no other way. I could have ran with Sorami at my side. I could have ran through the worlds, even a job of stopping Adam and Eve to someone else. But I didn't choose to do that. To the very last iota of my will, I thought of nothing else but stopping him, not slaying him in a fight. Sorami, saying nothing else, pressed her head against my chest for a second time, rubbing against it like a cat.
What should we do now?
I am Defagius.
Why are you smiling?
Indeed, I couldn't quite mask the happiness that overcame me as I heard her previous words. It's the first time in my entire life that I truly felt free. What do you want to do? She cocked her head and disappeared in thought. After a couple of seconds, she suddenly clapped her hands in exclamation, seemingly having come upon an idea.
I want to go to school. I mean, it turned out I never went to one, so...
That's a good idea. I was thinking the very same thing. Said she was looking forward to it. With a smile. Ma?
So that's what you two want, huh?
Turned around until the jaws hit the floor. Lilith. She was alive. Or perhaps she died and resurrected again? Or was she never alive to begin with?
Lilith! Oh my god, I'm so glad you're alive!
Well, explaining it would be too much of a pain, so let's leave it at that. Sure.
Apparently a bit embarrassed, Lilith ruffled her hair. Turns out her memories returned with the death of Metatron.
Lilith, what do you think we should do from now on?
Well, that's something you gotta decide for yourself, don't you think?
Lilith's lips curled up in a mischievous grin. I had a bad feeling about this.
One thing is certain, though. It's time to say goodbye, Sorami.
Huh? Huh?
Well, what did you think would happen? You come from the future, don't you? With God and Metatron dead, the world would struggle to return to its original state. So you, who comes from the future, would obviously be pulled right back to...
Back to the future? That's heavy.
Yep.
Wait a second. But then...
Lilith dropped her eyebrows, her tone turning somewhat forlorn.
The world shall return to its original, correct state. Past, present, and future shall unbind and return to their respective places.
But then...
Sorami hesitated with her question for a few moments.
Am I going to be separated from everyone like this?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Sorami gulped, still glanced at me.
From Setsuna too?
Yeah, might be a good idea to finish your goodbyes while you still can.
Lilith glanced at me, lips once again curling into a grin. No, Then sealed my mouth with the tip of her fingers. Her finger.
There are two huge disadvantages to the choice you're trying to make. Come here for a second.
Lilith signaled me to come closer. A little puzzled, I slowly leaned towards her and prepared to listen closely. So she proceeded to whisper the following in my ear.
First thing you already know. The other, though...
What? considered Lilith's face for a few moments. Her smile seemed to lack its usual boldness. This time she was serious. She looked straight at me, demanding a choice.
What will you do? She can't help going back to the future, but you have a choice. And you have to make it yourself.
No, I couldn't go. Sorami.
Yeah? What?
She considered my face with anxious eyes. I calmed myself down, made an indifferent face, steeling my heart. I'm sorry. It appears I cannot go with you.
Huh?
But don't worry about me. I continued, adding a lie to the mix. I'll catch up with you later. Trust me. Trust me. What a convenient line. Forces trust on another like a duty. Made my heart open to ask you for your trust. You're the one who would betray me if you didn't bestow it upon me. Poisonous expression that veiled a trap.
Okay. I understand. I'll trust you then.
Sorami gave me a weak smile. I realized she had seen through my life. Lie. Yet nonetheless, she decided to leave me with words of confidence, piercing through my heart as if it were a blade, knowing that I'll likely end up spending the remainder of my life tormented by guilt. Forgive me. She could have told me it was all right. I didn't need to follow her, but she wanted to have a little revenge.
Then, can you do one last thing for me?
Close her eyes, raise her face. Even I could understand what she meant. Are you sure?
Yes. Very sure.
I spot tears welling up in the corners of her eyes. Fighting against the feeling of excruciating guilt, with my hands on her shoulders. Pressed my lips against hers that felt cold as ice. Couldn't feel a single hint of warmth in the gesture, only pain gnawing at my heart. This torment would likely follow after me for the remainder of my life. My just punishment for my sin. I drew my face back and opened my eyes. Sorami, slightly flushed, smiled to herself. It seemed she was trying to fill her breast to the brim with a blissful glow of the tiny gesture.
Thank you.
It's nothing.
Then I think I'll be on my way. Goodbye. That's enough.
Sorami drew away, turned her back to me. The destination was the gate to the future she had summoned. The moment she opened them, the present and future would bind again. The future Metatron made would synchronize with the present, and the worlds of the multiverse would finally be able to branch and move forward again. Let's meet again, Sorami. Yet, I couldn't stop lying. Sorami's shoulders shuddered for a split second. She raised her hand to wipe something from her eyes, and turned around to address me.
I'll be waiting for you.
She declared so with a beaming smile, yet she knew full well that such a wish had been futile at this point. Still, she left me with that, letting me know she had a faint glimmer of faith nonetheless. Faint, I had no way of answering. Not looking back anymore, Sorami proceeded towards the gates with a light step. She pushed the giant doors open, stepped inside, a glimpse of the light beyond the doors. She went back to the future, and I remained in the present. I've likely lost my last and only chance to reach her world.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah.
So you'd rather have your bones buried in the present, I see.
That's likely to happen relatively soon, yes.
You could have tried looking for an alternative in the new world.
In the very end, I chose the most realistic of conclusions. Either way, I'd have long in this world. So I didn't want to cling to false hopes of the future. All I ever wanted was peace. I didn't want to be tied to anything. I didn't want the strain of excitement on my heart. I wanted a rigid, cold reality. That's what I chose.
Well, I bet you just thought you didn't want to leave Sorami traumatized for life by suddenly keeling over in front of her. Your schemes ain't gonna work on me.
I'm no schemer. Just no loser to be left forgotten in an obsolete world.
Well, whatever rocks your boat. You did great today, Setsuna.
Liv smiled, patted my shoulder, closed my eyes and dove down to the silent darkness. This was for the best of us all. There's no place more suitable for my future than impenetrable darkness. Open my eyes to the rain pitter-pattering up the window. All the angels and demons scattered across the world to rebuild the present. Apparently after the present synchronized with the future, the multiverse started multiplying at a rapid pace. The water evaporated from hell, while heaven eventually regained its old luster. When we went back to her home now below the earth, while Raziel chose to ascend with her angel friends. Hope returned to the dying universe. Angels would scoop and pick out the new worlds, while demons would take care of them. The old hierarchy had been restored. So there's nobody left living in Pandora anymore. Students had been preserved here where all returned to their respective worlds. Someday in some new worlds the people had grown to know and Pandora would be reborn. In any case, the universe resumed advancing towards the future, its gears spinning and turning with no hint of stopping it ever again. Even the present had been living in was it past already, behind, forgotten. I guess on my right arm that let out a strange stringent sound. I suppose that's it for it. Managed to keep it moving for a while, counting on nanomachines alone, with blood coagulating and its joints completely worn off. So little I could do to resurrect it at this point. Besides my right arm, my left leg, left shoulder, right lung, and liver had also given out. My sense of touch functioned about 10% effectiveness, sense of hearing 40%, vision 70%, smell 50%. I completely lost my sense of taste by now. When my mind remained clear, the feeling would be the part to give out last. I immediately observed how my body fell apart. With death, we returned to nothingness. My mind must have understood the terror of that. And yet, but neither a sense of release nor fear. I took as a fact of reality and faced it stoically. I considered rain beyond the window. I could barely make out a sound despite a storm raging there. My ears weren't too much use anymore. Looking at one drop falling after the other, finally dawned upon me. That it's knocking at the door already, isn't it? Then it would be a waste to wither in a place like this. I stood up, but as if I hadn't left this room forever. It was an easy to stagger around with a left leg was hardly better than a stick, a right that only barely moved. But, well, knew that would happen from the start. This is just how I was designed. I leveled forth through the lonely corridor. We'll never clean this place anymore, so it's covered by a thick mantle of dust. Nothing can hold out against time. Suddenly a phantasm jumped into my deteriorated vision.
Heyo! Setsuna!
Somebody waved her hand and dashed towards me, going right through me like a ghost. I saw her silhouette disappear behind me in the darkness. My mind calm, no disappointment raging in my heart. It's but an illusion, a delusion of a sick mind, a mere fantasy. Still, I'll say I was fortunate to see her again, if anything. In any case, I went through the trouble of getting up and shuffling around. I seem to have forgotten my destination. My memories of Pandora have been intrinsically connected to the people living there. Going to an empty class would only feel hollow at this point. Yeah, let's see how the roof's looking. Proceeded forward again. I knew climbing the stairs could be such a Herculean struggle. I wanted to sweat off my brows. Last time in the roof was before I lost my left leg. Still lost my right lung. I ran out of breath just thinking about the stairs. Now, however, I felt as if I could reach the top alright. Like lacking the arms, one leg, one lung, and liver, this might as well have been a delusion that my desperate obsession with the destination gave birth to. Anyway, I reached the top. Today was the day I felt like I would definitely do it. The place where I had once gazed at the stars. The place which had been closest at my side. I released a breath so big I thought my soul itself might lurch out through it. Maybe I should take a rest. I heard a warning signs going off in my mind already. But I didn't care what that implied. At this point, I would have huffed fumes, drank alcohol, and ingested a litter of industrial effluent and meat reaching the roof. Continue up, one step at a time, not losing my patience, slowly pushed onwards. I had to come to a halt once to realize how much torment and stagnation truly meant for the human soul. That's why everyone always pushed forward. Humans had to. It's fine to pause for a while, take a little break, or accidentally wander the wrong way and turn back. But the moment one stopped pressing forward, stop in place indefinitely, they lose their humanity. They become an object. Like me, who had chosen the path of torpor. Even if I had followed after Sorami, what had been waiting for me was a sudden and painful death, likely after many a struggle and tear. I grew afraid of the pain. I grew afraid of myself not being able to withstand it. I grew afraid of subjecting Sorami to the sight of such torment. I was most afraid of my demise, leaving on her an internal scar. He could laugh and call me a coward, all he wanted. I couldn't bear the thought. And this was the result. A lonely death I chose by abandoning my comrades. Must have meant I avoided forcing Sorami to go through nursing a dying man. Might as well end up blaming her for his pain. Roof. The dim thought of salvation waiting for me in the roof was likely a product of a delusional mind, but it nonetheless bestowed upon me one last little goal in life. I took another step. Wished I could rest. Felt light-headed, pain and nausea overcoming me. But I wouldn't give in to mere pain to all I've already gone through. That I know I would die regardless. Pain had little jurisdiction over me. Another step, another. Eventually, the scenery, as if having given up on the face of my tenacity, changed. No, the stairs had really come to an end. My steel door now blocked my view. Apparently, I'd reached my destination. Finally. I felt emotions descending on me. Pushed the doors open. Belial creaked around behind me with the rumble of faraway thunder, though oddly enough, the sound didn't feel unpleasant. As I finally got outside, a trickle of water hit me from above. Rain filled the sky as far as the eye could see. The rain were the tears of a god. It was positively bawling right now. Eyes fixed on the dark sky, gray sky. Closed the door. Pressed onwards, and somehow finding my way all the way to the fence, leaned against my back, and gazed into the sky. At this point, it looked like a wet wrath, a sensation of melting, joining the rain filled me with peace. I opened my eyes to make sure to catch every detail in the scenery as a dream suddenly descended on me. A dream of a young boy. His father gave him a present. He was always elated by what he found under the wrapping. It was a toy and invincible robot. For a young boy like himself, was a hero almost as important to his life as his own father. Making fighting sounds with its own mouth, he had the robots fly around and banish all evil that stood in his way. The two slept together. The two woke up together. All men grew up one day. The boy was no exception. The vague sensation of reluctance on his fingertips threw the robot away with a dry heart. Moving to a trash bin, moving to a forgotten corner of his closet. The robot would serve no use in his life anymore. At most, he might have put it out one day to reminisce about his childhood. Bringing stories like these personified the robot in question would either fall into deep sorrow and of resenting his former master. How dare he abandon me? Have I always been just a piece of disposable junk to him? I wouldn't blame him for reproaching his former master with such words. Still, let me tell you of another possibility. What if the robot never wished to be with the boy forever? He fulfilled his duty, looked over the boy as he grew up, supported and counseled him in moments of sadness. Eventually, it came time for the boy to leave the nest. Would it making the robot sad and lonely cheapen the story? At least, it wasn't like that resentful robot. If anything, I appreciate there was someone out there to use my life up as a tool. I accomplished everything I had set out to do. No qualms about being thrown away. It would have been more than fulfilled if the one that had used me showed but a hint of hesitation before the act. So that was why the tears that were currently trickling down my face were those of happiness. Countless different people lived in different worlds. Some struggled to survive, some died satisfying deaths. Some loved each other, some discovered the bond of friendship to be their bliss. This world had been made of such beautiful things. So wonderful. My last words carried the totality of my emotions. It had been short for a testament, but it would do. Extend my arm towards the sky. Hoping I could reach it, of course. All wanted to feel closer to heaven. Rain poured out on me like a waterfall. Like a waterfall. No other sounds, only the falling rain. Pitter-patter, pit-pat, pitter-patter. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. Unplugged with consciousness. My field of vision got filled with garbage, graphics, and the sound of rain ceased. I should have tried to hold on to it for a bit longer. I could tell that the nanomachines in my blood were dying one after another. My cells proceeded to burst. My body grew rigid. I'm frail like plaster. All my five senses were almost completely non-functional at this point. My sense of vision abandoned me at long last. Everything grew dark. Couldn't feel anything. Couldn't hear anything. Couldn't see anything. I couldn't smell anything. But my mind remained calm, taking reality for what it was. I didn't feel afraid. Rather, I felt relieved. I no longer felt pain. I lost my vision, but not my memories. I summoned the now already vague images of my past back to my mind. Sorami, Lilith and Raziel were all there. I did not spend the longest time with them, but my memories of those days have remained most vivid. I see friendship there. The days I spent with them were beautiful, invaluable like the most exquisite of gems. Kugutsu Sorami. The final thought that dominated my mind before death was how much I truly loved the girl. So my story come to an end. Nothing waited for me past the point where I retained the strength to wish something would. A little bit unfortunate, a tad bit sad, but I was sure she at least found her own bliss in a new world, living her life happily with her new family. It is certainly strong in my heart when I closed the album, my memories. All that remained was a sweet sensation of bliss.
You go back right now and you get the good ending. You go back right now. I'm crying, dude. Fuck you.
What was there to hesitate about? And I decided long ago that I would be by her side. I'll go to the future.
I see.
She placed her paw on my cheek, a somewhat lonely expression on her face.
Tokyo Babel is gonna be boring without you.
I'll leave the rest to you, Lilith.
Wow, thanks, pal. Jeez, what a pain in the ass. Just go already.
Sorry, Lilith. Thank you. The bewilderment overtook Lilith's features for a split second. As the moment passed, she was back to normal again, as if nothing had happened. She flash your usual wicked grin.
You don't need to worry about anything. Just be on your way already. And be careful not to catch a cold or something, alright?
Thank you.
It's we should be thanking you. You could have made another choice. One where you ran away abandoning us to our deaths. Heck, no one could have blamed you for chickening out. But you stood your ground and fought. You opposed both God and his mightiest angel. It's not something just anyone could do. It's a deed worthy of a true hero. So listen closely, okay? Keep fighting till the very end. Never give up.
Fight who?
You still have one more battle ahead of you. Well, but I think that's enough for the somber stuff.
Lilith waved at her, staring at us from behind my back. Raziel, Belial, so he survived, Camael and Messenger, restrained by Camael, came over to my side.
Sorami, we didn't know each other for long, but I loved our time together. I'll take care of Aussie for you. Oh, and don't you worry. I'm not thinking of eating him or anything.
You better not be!
Yeah, it's gonna get lonely here. Do you also feel sad to part with us?
Of course. It's always tough to leave a friend.
Raziel embraced Sorami.
Good luck on your way.
Thanks.
Seemed she tried to resist the urge at first, but now her eyes were full of tears again. Imagine Raziel, whose face I couldn't glimpse from behind. She had one or two herself. After a short while, Raziel let Sorami go. Faced me instead.
You're going with her, aren't you?
If I could read sadness in Raziel's eyes. Apparently she wasn't too keen on parting ways with me. After all, we would never meet again. Thought just occurred to me. Yeah, care of my duty. And I like to live for myself. I follow Sorami to a world. Spend my final days in peace.
I see. That's too bad. And I mean it. I'll miss you very much.
Raziel. She wrapped her arms around my neck, squeezed me tight like she did with Sorami.
Huh? What? Raziel?
Relax, chill, deep breaths.
There's a huge grin on her face. Lilith caught Sorami by her arm and held her down.
You'd go, even if I tried to stop you. Wouldn't you?
Yes.
It's gonna be lonely here without you.
I'm sorry.
I've never felt like this before.
Barely audible whispers at the tip of my ear were like soap bubbles, fragile and ephemeral. Unable to find the words to soothe her, I gently stroke her hair instead. Eventually, slowly let my body go and took a step back.
May luck guide you on your way. Goodbye.
Thank you. When Raziel took her leave, I felt a sharp pain in my elbow. Turned back to see Sorami glaring at me with suspicious eyes.
I think you've had enough.
I suppose so. Didn't quite understand what I said to her, but it didn't seem like she was in the mood to explain. Frank?
Huh? No way. Don't tell me you already got yourself wrapped around her finger.
I don't believe I'm wrapped around anything. Yeah, right. Belial let out a hearty laugh.
Well, no use crying over spilt milk now. Though, as a former fallen angel, I gotta thank you. You've done well, son.
Wasn't me you should have been thanking for slaying God. It was Metatron who took in it on the end.
So, I hear you're going to the future.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. If you only applied for it, I bet you become either a high-ranking demon or an angel. Whichever rocks your boat. We could use an extra man.
You know that was possible. What should one apply to with these things?
If you fancy becoming a demon, talk to me. If you want to be an angel, it's this guy you want.
Poor Camael came over to us with a stern expression on his face. Nolan.
Sorry, my Discord's glitching out. I have nothing to say to you. I mean, I have appearances to consider, after all. You killed the Lord, our father.
Cut him some slack. A new world requires its fair share of sacrifices.
Anyway, I'm thankful to you for taking care of the situation. Though, I'd still appreciate it if you were on your way already. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure I should be thanking you or killing you instead.
Well, ain't you a savage?
All angels other than Raziel and Remiel are of similar mind. Are so confused with so many things happening in a short time. What are we supposed to believe in now?
I don't know if my words would mean anything to you, but for starters, you should all believe in yourselves. Came out of a muffled grumble. I chose a very neutral answer, but it seemed like it hit him like a nail.
Might as well do that.
Camael let out a sigh.
I never expected for it all to end like this.
Messenger, looking as aloof as ever, both of her hands bound by steel shackles. What did you expect?
I expected you to succumb to Metatron, have your memories wiped, and be sent into the future as the Adam of the new world.
Indeed, things ended up going quite differently compared to her expectations. Still, I had one question I had to ask her, no matter what. Messenger, why did you...
I assume you wish to know why I snatched Eve, that is, Sorami, from Metatron at the beginning of your story.
Yeah, to the very end. Her allegiances remain a mystery to me. Is she a foe or an ally?
I had my own scheme of sorts. That is all.
Messenger gave me a faint smile. In that case, her sin was great. She most definitely betrayed and schemed against her own angel kin.
Oh. It doesn't seem like I can hear the chorus anymore.
After uttering those final words to me, she left alongside Camael.
Well, I guess that's that. I suggest you hurry on. If you waste any more time, Sorami might get split in half.
Split in half?
Yeah, just imagine being tied to two horses that were running to different directions and...
Let's hurry, Setsuna.
Sorami tugged my sleeve, unable to resist her newfound fervor. Followed her towards the gate. Let's back my old comrades one last time. Alright, everyone. Thank you for everything. I hesitated. I know I should share the words that came to my mind, as they were blasphemy, palpable sin. Still, I didn't want to leave the world without sharing my true feelings for once. Whatever, out with it already. I had fun. The days I spent in Tokyo Babel were the most fun I had in my entire life. Men died, angels fell, and demons perished. Some I killed myself. Still, nonetheless, couldn't help but enjoy this adventure from the bottom of my heart. I could say I loved it. Sorami cried out after me.
Me too! I had lots of fun too! All sorts of stuff happened! A lot of sad things as well, but I truly enjoyed it all!
Glad to hear it.
Liz saw us off with a smile when I reached the gate, pushed it open with no hesitation. In that moment, the past, the present, and the future only connected back to a single line.
Goodbye, Setsuna. Let's see each other again when the time comes.
One final mysterious remark on her lips let it close the gates behind us. Suddenly I was overcome with pain, not the physical kind, but rather the pain of isolation, the mental terror being cut off from the world. Everything around me ended up swallowed by darkness and became vague. I couldn't tell which direction I was supposed to go in.
This way. Follow me.
I whispered. I turned around as I felt Sorami clutch my hand, pointing straight ahead. I saw light. Sorami eagerly pulled me towards it, suffered forlorn by the notion of leaving my old world. I followed her in silence. Behind me lay the past where we left all of our sweat, blood, and tears behind. It was probably exactly what Metatron hated. He didn't want humans to shed anything, even sweat. He wanted his children to live in peace, free of hardship. However, I could now declare with confidence that he was wrong. Blood, sweat, tears, and even despair, all are vital to the human experience. I think, therefore I am. That was the only proof of one's idle existence. Thoughts were never enough for us. Couldn't help trying to move our legs as well, always struggling to push forward. I continued onwards. I embraced my past, my dreams and despair, everything. Surrounded by the golden light, felt at peace, almost like a baby in a womb. Still, I refused to let go of my past. I squeezed the proof of what I had been tight in my chest. Both the fact that men made me, but they tried to turn me into a god. I embraced it all.
Listen, Setsuna. What kind of a world will await us in the future, you think? A good one or a bad one?
I don't think even God could answer that.
Guess so.
There's one thing I'm sure of. I want to be there with you. I know we could. I end up continents apart. At least my current feelings were no lie. I wish, from the bottom of my heart, to spend my life with Sorami.
Yeah, well, me too. I want to be with you forever and so on. I don't know how to put it anymore. I'm kind of positively head over heels for you at this point.
Without a bashful smile, laugh, sort that my affection towards her was the last thing I ever let go. And so, a new world, the past held tight my hands. I was born. Other than a small variation with seasons, scenery outside the window of the hospital room never changed. I felt like an inmate at prison. They at least allowed me to change rooms from time to time. Could have maybe seen some variation in the outside scenery. My nurse refused my pleas without a moment of consideration. Oh, it's so boring here. Tedium with no end. At the same time, the place was incredibly comfortable and relaxing. Tendo says and lost always. Frank, go ahead.
Tendu Setsuna lost all of his powers as he reached the future, including the power of a god and everything else he acquired during his journey.
I was never a man that should have been in this world, so I had to pay an adequate price for entering into it. which turned out to be my powers, as well as my health. I felt sick at times, really lying on the bed. It felt like a struggle. I can reconsider both my lives while lying in bed, one in Tokyo Babel, not in this world where I found myself confined to a bed shortly after birth. When I considered the former, it seemed like I had opened my eyes into this bed one night. When I considered the latter, I remembered 17 years of fighting an illness. I was born frail and made frequent visits to the hospital since I was very young. Or rather, I guess it was my home that I kept visiting, considering I practically live at this hospital. I could count on 2 hands the number of times I actually went to school. The same routine repeated over and over again, like some character from a fantasy movie stuck in a never-ending loop. Well, my body seemed to have grown up to resemble that of my Tokyo Babel self, but the endurance I was left with felt pathetic, to say the least. In basic functions like standing and walking required a Herculean effort. I run out of breath walking through the hospital corridors. Heck, I could barely reach the door of my room since last year. Life itself was hardship incarnate. I couldn't leave this world without trying to achieve something. However, I knew I didn't have long left. My body somehow tricked itself into growing up, but that was about it. Built on a shaky foundation, it would soon fall apart. I feel death drawing closer. I feel it rubbing my neck, slowly squeezing it with its bony fingers, harder and harder by the day. I spent the first few years in fear, and then I focused on making peace with my fate. And now I spend my days absent-mindedly, thinking about nothing in particular. At this point, one of the days I was supposed to spend in Tokyo Babel were merely some sort of illusion or a daydream. It's just a wishful delusion of a sickly boy confined to his bed. Wonder about Sorami. Never met her in this world. Well, if she was here, she was probably enjoying her new life. At least, hope she was. Trouble breathing. That my good-for-nothing body was now failing at the most basic of survival functions. In my mind, I had little will to fight death at this point. The pain. I knew it would be this bad when I remained in Tokyo Babel. I knew it was a mistake to follow Sorami through that gate after all. But what if I had remained? I guess I would have escaped this pain at least. Bad thoughts invaded my mind again. I felt as if I had been demoted from the protagonist to the supporting cast, or even a throwaway villain. Wish for release. I should be liberated from this constant pain. I had no means to escape other than death. Choose one's own end was something that required quite a bit of courage. I didn't want to live. I didn't want to die. I wanted to release from this pain and my misery to end. Closed my eyes. Rejecting reality, I found solace in my dreams. These days, I'd always been sleepy as a side effect of my medicine. Open eyes. Totally surprised I could remain conscious inside a dream. Like the result of playing around with this stuff for so long, appeared ahead of me. The dream today seemed somewhat different from the usual sanctuary of my fantasy's landscape. Someone had their hands locked around my neck in the darkness, and slowly choking me. I tried to pry their fingers off, but to no avail. I lacked the strength. Terrified by this situation, I continued to struggle, trying to force myself awake in the real world. Still, I couldn't seem to wake up. The black silhouette added more strength to its grip. I couldn't believe it could hurt this much inside a dream. Let me go! I couldn't breathe. It hurt. I felt sick. Story of my life indeed. You'd think they let me have some peace in my dreams at least. But who's this? James, go for it.
What happened to your spirit?
Black silhouette addressed me in a cold tone. I didn't know why, but a nostalgic feeling of anger lit up inside my chest. Who the hell are you? Oh.
Someone you killed.
The shadow's face suddenly grew clear, the animosity towards it pretty much out of reflex. You bastard! Forgetting the state of my body, I swung a fist at him. The fist hurt, but the humiliation of having been strangled by him was much worse. Remembering rage for the first time in years, I kept punching his face from below, scratched at his arms, and struggled with all my might. But Adam's stony countenance showed no hint of change.
You can choose to leave the world weighed down by your sins, but I'm not letting you escape it through cowardice. Even if God allows it, I won't, as one of those you killed.
Shut up! I understood that much. That's why I never attempted suicide. Not even consider it an option to begin with. You have a problem with it?
The indolence of waiting for time to kill you is little different from killing yourself.
Shut up! You had no idea how much pain I'm in. My whole life was hell. I spent all my days in pain as if oxygen itself had been poisoned to me. But face to face with death in Tokyo Babel countless times, I'd never imagined that having a body that didn't function properly could be so tormenting.
Sure, I don't. But I know one thing. You're not doing anything about it.
What? Ignore my anger. I'll continue in an indifferent tone.
You're wallowing in idleness, even though you chose to travel to the future world out of your own will. You're trying to shift blame and make it into someone else's fault. I don't want the one who slayed me to sink that low. It taints my name as the original man to have been killed by such a fool.
His words rang true. I was about to do something thoroughly unbecoming of myself. I spent the past few days thinking about the reason that made me travel to the future. Ignoring the fact it was my own wish. Trying to find a scapegoat to blame. Kugutsu Sorami. I was about to start to resent her for my fate.
Did it ring a bell?
I sighed. It's been a while since I felt like punching myself this much. Yeah, I was about to start resenting her, blaming her for taking me to this world.
That is indeed the truth, and that is why I came. Better thank me, fool. If I hadn't come, you'd have become scum.
It was wrong of me to feel thankful to the bastard, even for a second. Shut up, you imitation.
Aren't we both imitations?
Inferior copy.
Byproduct of a failed project.
I smiled. He smiled. We punched each other. I finally woke up, both literally and figuratively. I sat in bed, pain assaulting every pore of my body, but I gritted my teeth and endured. I gave my cheeks a couple of slaps when I woken up, but the pain never left me. My agony was here to stay. The only thing that had changed was my heart. But no longer waiting acceptant idleness for death to take me. No matter how much it hurt, I would spend the remainder of my life in a way that I could be proud of. I would struggle. I'll struggle to the very end. Finishing my disgusting hospital meal, ignore the pain and sluggishness of my body, proceed to walk around the hospital. Whispering to myself to man up, went up and down the stairs, leaning on the rails with most of my weight. When I vomit, I'll eat more, no longer mind the taste. I ate for nutrition alone. I didn't want to die in a hospital bed, nor did I want my life to end at school or at home. My goal was but one, to find Kugutsu Sorami. She had to be somewhere in this world. I wouldn't die till then. I refused to. I've been closely acquainted with the Grim Reaper on countless occasions. I'll kick his ass back to hell if he came after me again. So, after 4 years of struggles, James.
What would you say to a surgery?
I was momentarily taken back with the doctor's words, asking when surgery could make me feel better.
Yes, but apart from being very long and complicated, it consists of multiple subsequent operations. You'd better prepare yourself for a long period of rehabilitation.
I wasn't scared of rehabilitation at this point. My parents welcomed my decision with open arms. And I finally succumbed to anesthesia and another dream.
Please, weren't you listening to me back then?
Luther was quite evidently exasperated. What? I don't remember you telling me anything. I think I may have had a few light knocks and a display of irritation.
Keep fighting till the very end. Never give up.
Oh, I remembered. And I finally understood what she had meant.
In other words, the final boss of your life...
It's none other than myself.
Right. Well, you can die for all I care.
Why?
Because then I could kick you down to hell and use you as a little plaything.
She wasn't serious, or so I hoped. I won't die. And a small snicker, she's patted me on the shoulder.
Fight till the very end. It's alright, you never gave up regardless of what foe you faced. And it wasn't your powers that made you capable of that. It was your will.
But
Well, you ended up all alone here, and I can see how that might have made you lose yourself a little. Till now you spent all your life living for somebody else. So if no one at your side, well, you couldn't help becoming a tad bit weaker, I guess.
Indeed, I myself was certainly my worst enemy. I had to protect myself, not others. I always looked down on myself, respected the lives of others, but never thought much of myself. Could never have prevailed that way. During my last battle, I didn't fight solely for others. I fought for myself as well. I fought to meet her, to embrace her once again. So I finally found it in myself the wish to prevail, no matter the cost.
You have a girl waiting for you. A poor girl who was born blind and lives her life tormented by loneliness, never free from tears.
I understand. That was the reason why she never came looking for me. Her eyes were indeed of a unique kind back in Tokyo Babel. It made sense for her to be robbed of them here.
So do you now understand what you have to do?
Yeah, I'll live and struggle to survive. To see her again and talk to her again. Not for anybody else, but for my own happiness.
Grown up. Oh, I'm so proud. Good. Then be on your way. You'll find a present from me after you wake up.
A present? But before I could ask her for details, a violent kick crashed into my stomach and flung me away.
Sorry. This is Sparta! Just kidding. Have a nice trip.
Seriously? That was the last word I uttered to that incarnate freedom before the black bottomless hole swallowed me. I woke up. I was got blinded by the beaming grin of a nurse that congratulated me on the recovery. With the countless operations, it felt more like they were replacing entire parts of my body rather than merely tinkering with it. So I didn't expect rehabilitation to be that bad. At times I couldn't help but wonder if people could die from muscle pain. Gritting my teeth, dragging my barely functional legs, I pushed onwards. I refused to fall. I could not afford to yield. Even when my family begged for me to stop, I pushed myself ever onward. If I was the same person as before, I'd likely given up already, but now I had the will to fight. I realized I'd been clutching a piece of paper after waking up from a surgery, and reading it infused me with newfound vigor. I just spent a great while coughing blood and rehabilitation every day. I finally reached a point where I could be discharged. I might return to hospital one day, but hopefully never long enough to make me call it home again. At least I hope I could associate the words return home with something other than the smell of anesthetic. Anyway, I was finally out. I could finally take the first step towards my goal. From now on, I would live for myself. I glanced at a piece of paper in my right hand. A line of small letters and numbers inscribed on it, spelling out an address. I had to pay the toll for my exorbitant powers as I was reborn in this new world. Oh.
I had to pay the toll for my exorbitant powers as I was reborn in this new world. I was born blind. It didn't take me long to make peace with the fact. I realized that Gethel's eyes most certainly weren't something that had any place in this world. In the very end, they ultimately betrayed me. Still, I couldn't bring myself to resent her. A lot of happy things happened as well. For starters, I had parents in this world, as well as a little sister. They all adored me. I had an honest-to-goodness family. And my name didn't change. I was still Kugutsu Sorami. And even my little sis name turned out to be Shiina, too. It was the future I had hoped for, and I was very thankful for it. Still, I soon realized I had been in one big predicament. Tendo Setsuna. He wasn't here. None of my family heard of the name and dismissed him as another daydream of a teenage girl. At times, I myself would start to question his existence. Could it be that the days I spent in Tokyo Babel were but a long dream I had one night? That the world I left behind was but a delusion, and this one was not the future but simply reality? And so I spent my days in gloom. I would have remained that way forever, had it not been for that little thing that proved it all to be true. My little sis found it. Sorami, do you know what this thing is? She handed me something round. What is it?
Wait, hold on.
Okay. Yeah,
Cristina,
I was gonna say.
Yeah, let Cristina voice. Cristina?
Read it from the beginning.
No, I can start from
It kind of looks like a black rock or something. Can I throw it away?
A rock? A black rock? Huh. Wait a second. Could it be? No. But maybe. Maybe, just maybe. I tried recalling the keyword. It wasn't in English, I think. Some other language that a lot of people used in the past. Merlicht? A small light suddenly appeared in the middle of my dark world. Even blind, I could feel its beautiful, radiant light. Wow, it lit up so suddenly. It's called Canopus. Right. I remembered giving it to Setsuna, and then finding it in my hands again later. Thank God. It wasn't all a dream. Everything that happened in Tokyo Babel was real. Sis? Sis?
What?
Shiina continued in a panicky voice.
Why are you crying?
Huh? Oh, I see. I'm crying. I started to bawl my eyes out, much like when I was born, probably with even more intensity. Alarmed, Shiina soon brought Mom and Dad to my room, who, in turn panicked themselves and were about to call the doctors before I stopped them. That story aside, I probably never would have believed that Tokyo Babel was real without this rock. But I was all right now. I believed it all, no matter how strange it seemed. That was how I found hope. Tendo Setsuna must have been alive somewhere in this world, looking at the same sky. And once I turned the age I had been in Tokyo Babel, I was told that thanks to the recent advancements in medicine, I might regain my sight through a surgery. They left the choice with me. That was a silly question, though. I had always yearned to see the world. I yearned to see the future that Tendo Setsuna had risked his life to make possible. The surgery went without complication. I felt oddly jovial about my slightly throbbing eyes and the bandage covering them. I couldn't wait for the day I could finally take it off and see the world. For now, though, I continued to ponder in the darkness. What kind of future did Setsuna win for us? Where was he, anyway? I spent most of my time thinking about Tendo Setsuna, a man whose existence I wasn't even sure of. People could laugh at me for being delusional all they wanted. My imaginary lover saved me. He gave me the courage to face the world.
Dr. James?
All right. I'll be taking off the bandage now.
The day had finally come. I could hear all three members of my family take a joint gulp as they watched the nurse uncoil the bandage from my head.
Please close your eyes for now, and only open them when the bandage is completely off. Do it very slowly, okay?
I could see faint light through my eyelids already. Once my bandage was off, I opened my eyes slowly, exactly like the nurse told me. I could see the world with my own eyes. Everything was still blurry, but I could make out people's faces to an extent.
Can you see us, sis?
I gave Shiina a nod. It seemed the trio of my family couldn't take the sight and began sniffing in unison. Mom, Dad, and Sis. The woman in white was probably the nurse. Was anyone else there? Why am I kidding myself? I let out a sigh and thought it might have been about time to graduate from delusions of imaginary lovers. Still, I couldn't help but...
Does this room belong to Miss Kugutsu Sorami?
My heart throbbed so hard I thought it might fly out of my mouth. Yes! Come in! Please, come in! I reacted ahead of my parents. They gave me a puzzled look, but I had no time to worry about them. The door flung open, and a boy whose face I knew so well entered the room. I saw him. I could see him. He stood right in front of me, his overlong black bangs covering one of his eyes. He looked just the way I'd last seen him, 17 years ago. I loved him so much. The 17-year wait felt so long it nearly drove me insane.
Sorry for being late.
He made an embarrassed smile. but I didn't care about all the years that had passed. Now, all I cared about was... Setsuna! I jumped out of bed straight into his arms. My parents let out a cry of surprise. My sister chuckled, impressed. I'm sorry, but I've got no time to explain this to you guys now. I had my hands full trying to confirm if this warmth I felt was truly real.
Sorami. So it's been 17 years.
I could no longer contain my tears. I wanted to see you so much. I waited all this time, hoping to see you one day.
Me too. I've wanted to see you again for the longest time.
Place is probably not the best for lines like these, though. I opened my eyes to see Dad giving us an angry look, now fully awake from the initial surprise. I could see his love... I could see his love for me in those eyes. Mom, meanwhile, seemed to be enjoying the situation with a mischievous smile. Not that I expected a different reaction, but I'd wish she'd go ahead and calm Dad down already. My sister seemed to have been transformed into an avatar of curiosity. Well, who could blame her? Her sister's boyfriend appeared in front of her pretty much out of nowhere. I hesitated for a moment, but decided to say the words I probably should have known better than to blurt out here, of all places. But whatever. After us, the deluge, and all that jazz. Setsuna, I love you so much.
Thanks. I love you too.
He answered my teary voice with soothing calmness. I closed my eyes, plunging back into a world of darkness. But it no longer held anything to be afraid of. Even if I couldn't see the future, and didn't know the past, Tendo Setsuna was right here in front of me in the present. The man I loved. I could reach out and touch him. Even if the future was vague and filled with uncertainty, as long as I was with him, as long as I lived together with him, I knew my life would be full of fun, and that I would never regret anything. That was the one thing I felt certain of. We would walk this path straight ahead, into the uncertain future. Not because somebody made us, but because we wished to do so ourselves. Nothing was defined in this world. It was constantly full of beauty and possibilities. And treading that uncertain path of probability, we press ever onwards. So such was mankind's raison d'être. Let us go now, Setsuna. In sickness and in health. Let us walk together. Forever.